6 miles an hour, but I think the maintenance on the harvester is 77%, so it's fine. I'm going to turn all the lights on again so I can see where stuff is. But once it drops, it's around 40%. It might be 45, but around 40%. The equipment speed will start dropping, so I'll be down to 5 miles an hour and then 4 miles an hour. I think 4 miles an hour is the minimum. And the same is true a harvester with a header. When the header got damaged, the maximum speed of the harvester was decreased, sorry. Same with plows, same with seeders. You lose speed as the equipment takes damage. Now, a lesser known thing was with the harvester. If the harvester got damaged, the yield went down. And someone did do some testing. They proved that it went down, but they were not able to get hard and fast numbers as to by how much for how much percentage. So all we can say is yeah, keep your harvester repaired, because you might be losing 1 to 5% depending on how bad condition it is. I do remember I did a... Oops. And we're full again. I did a potato contract with... Borrowed the equipment, and I was using, obviously, this thing. And... it was on Ravensport. And it was one of the bigger fields, but payout was incredible. So sort of, yes, I'm going to do this because they're providing the right equipment and I'll get paid a ton. Well, I got about a third of the way through the field. The potato harvester was down to 10% maintenance. It was crawling along at 2 miles an hour. And it's sort of, I've got to fix this because it's just taking too long to do the contract. Barris 84215, welcome to the stream and thanks for the follow. So I did do, I took it back to the store, I repaired it at great expense to myself because those potato harvesters are not cheap to fix. And I ended up having to repair the harvester twice just to do the contract in less than a day. And obviously, potentially the yield was being affected as well. But you get so many potatoes out of the ground, it's sort of... the bonus from the contract was quite significant. But anyway, yes, repairing the equipment is a definite thing that needs to be considered. Oh, and I'm driving way past my crop. Okay, good for me. I know, someone postulated also that maybe having your seeder or your fertilizer damaged too much may use more seed or more fertilizer. But again, it's another one of those, it's really hard to quantify exactly how much it's happening. With the speed on damaged equipment, it was very easy because you could see it tick down as the thing went up. The problem with trying to quantify how much harvest you lose, you can save the game with a harvester at the beginning of a field, set a worker off, harvest the entire field, reset the game save and do it all again, and you will not have exactly the same amount harvested. Because there's a, and so it comes back to, well, if it's within 1 or 2%, then we'll call it the same. and that's, you know, that's probably sufficient. So I might come to the end of the field and it's, this time I get 500,000. I could reset the game entirely and harvest it all again and get 498,000. It's close enough that it's the same. Anyway, how are we doing? So we got 2 more unloads and then another trip back to the farm. We can take the Land Rover with us. But yeah, and the thing with losing a little bit of horsepower on my tractors, seriously, the size of tractor I use for the job, it's rarely a problem. You look at, you know, this farm, we have two tractors that are horsepower points short of 400 horsepower. I've got no piece of equipment that needs more than 350. So it's not like, you know, a loss of 1 or 2 percentage points in horsepower is going to make a very big difference on the capabilities of my tractors. And even then, I mean, hauling this 30,000 litre grain cart, the Challenger struggles going up the hill to the farm. Every tractor I have struggles going up to the hill to the farm, no matter what it's got behind it. So, yeah, you live with those issues. But yeah, if you're trying to plough a field with a 125 horsepower tractor with a 125 horsepower requiring plough, doing this field going that way, up and down, you're going to have problems ploughing uphill, regardless of whether it's pristine condition or not. The other thing that makes a difference is tyres. I can't remember who did it, but I watched a YouTuber a couple of weeks ago do tyres make a difference? And so he actually did all of them, and I think he picked a Case tractor that had all the tyre options. So it had all the manufacturers and all of the sizes on at least one of them. And obviously some of them had multiple options. He ran one of the biggest cultivators, which was way over requirement on the tractor he'd selected. And he ran normal tyres with weights, wide with weights, doubles, double narrows, double narrows on the back, doubles on the back, just all of the options. And his findings are actually quite surprising. And the bottom line he did come up with is, this setup I have here is good, but just looking at the tyres, this setup is bad, just having wheel weights on the back, because it lifted up the front of the tractor, so there's not as much traction on that front wheel. So this setup was slower than running wide tyres with no wheel weights. Jesse J 92, welcome to the stream. I'm doing fine, thank you very much. How are you doing? So the whole just running wide tyres with weights or normal tyres with weights didn't work. It was actually slower than just running normal tyres or wide tyres. Wide tyres were better than normals because more traction. Doubles were better than wides. Even double narrows were better than wides, but normal doubles were, I think, the best. The track tree had the tracks on the back, and it had three options of tracks: wide tracks, narrow tracks, narrow tracks with wide spacing. Well, and then he ran all the tests for all of the tyre manufacturers. He actually found the BKT tyres are probably the best you can use for doing general field work and working to the limits of I'm running a 150 horsepower tractor with a 160 horsepower plough. Stick BKT tyres on it and you will probably have less problems, because the BKT tyres appear to be the best. Now, as far as, I don't know, when you come to mods, I don't know how that counts, because obviously it depends how the modder has coded things. But I did say that I'd seen someone do similar tests in FS19, and he'd found that sticking a weight on the front of the tractor did make a difference. And so this guy responded to my comment and said, that's interesting. I'm going to do a part 2 on this where I investigate that. I don't think I put that on follow, did I? Let's go back to there. There we go. So I think this last week he published that test, and quite surprising, a front weight only makes a difference. Actually, no, a front weight makes a difference. If you put a front weight on a tractor with normal wheels and no wheel weights, it slows it down because the whole contraption or the whole setup is heavier. And so, don't use a front weight if you're using a standard, standard wides, whatever. But the one exception to that was if you put a front weight on a tractor with wheel weights on the rear wheels, it's better than everything. So obviously the wheel weights are providing more weight at the back of the tractor and less weight on the front wheels. But if you put the extra weight on the front, it puts the weight on the front wheels, and so you have all 4 wheels providing the most traction they can. But if you don't have wheel weight, so if you're using doubles, I think double rears and wheel weights and a front weight helped. But generally, if you're putting doubles on your tractor, then just live with that and you should do okay. Oh, no. Oh, he's got a long way to come. And beat the car. So that's good enough. So anyway, interesting things. And as I said, standard-wise, my big tractors kind of use them in US tractoring mode, where I almost never have anything on the front. I do have a mowing setup which I run on the Challenger. The Challenger's totally over powered for it, but that's the only time I take the front weight off my big tractors, is to run the mowers. So I've always got a big, I think it's 1,000 kilo weight and wheel weights on my tractors, on my big tractors. And they're hauling big plows and big everything. Ranger is still following us, so that's good. I guess I could jump out and go and meet it. Time 10:30. You don't need to be driving in the hedge, dude. Oh. Okay. So that's the other thing with Follow Me, which I've recently started noticing. If you turn off the worker, it turns off Follow Me. So that's kind of handy. Okay, that's emptying. Uh, 83% on the Land Rover, 99% on the fuel cart, so we're good there. Where's my truck? Oh, the truck's hauling silage, yes, of course. It's not an easy trailer to reverse because it's such a short wheelbase. But, for Farm Sim 19, definitely something that's useful to have around. Even if you only use it once when you make an accident, like, oh, I'm out in the field that's furthest away from the farm and I really don't have enough fuel. That's the other thing we're going to want to get out is this. I'm not sure whether I can hitch up. Back up a bit more. Yeah, that would be a big no. Okay. Put the Land Rover away then. So yeah, once the sugar beets are all finished harvesting, I am going to want to crate up, I think I said about 50,000 litres. Should have pulled forward a bit further. What do you think? Doggy, don't run through the car. Oh. And there we go. Stick it forward, turn off the engine, jump out. Probably empty the truck a little bit more wherever it's gone. There it is. Let's dump some more silage. And we still have 4,000 litres left, so we'll live with that. Okay. Now, as far as Calmsden is concerned, there is another mod that might make the farm a little bit more stream friendly, which is, I think it's called Real Equipment Speed Mod, and it basically allows you to disengage the speed limiter. And it does give you a suggestion about how fast you should possibly drive the equipment. So, for example, a sprayer might have a maximum speed of 7 miles an hour, but if you disengage the speed limiter, you can run it at, it advises 12, but you could probably run it at 39 behind this tractor. But being able to plough a bit quicker and spray a bit quicker might be a way to make Calmsden a map that could be considered for a Saturday stream. As I said, I just don't want to spend 2 hours ploughing a field, because that's just painful. Okay. Lovely field of oilseed radish to our right. I'm not sure what 17 is. That might be grass of some description. Okay. Well, that's the tea drunk. Just before it got unbearably cold. So, I mean, stopping up here, there are, I think, that field there's another field to the other side of it that we could expand into and would then give us a group of fields here that could be worked together. The big brown plot of ground is what was sunflowers, which we harvested. There's a right where the tractor's left-hand beacon is, there's a strip of grass that separates those two fields. The two with oilseed radish, that's not exactly convenient because the second one behind that line of trees that's now on the left-hand beacon, that one there, is separated. You have to go all the way down to Oak Glen Farm to get up to that field. Not so much with carts and sprayers and the like, but harvester headers will not go through hedges because of a script on this map which prevents bales and for some reason headers from going through hedges. So you have to take your harvester all the way round. And that's not necessarily convenient if you plant the fields with two of the same thing. But one of those fields is convenient for the two that had sunflowers. So we could turn those three fields into the same crop. Am I doing there? Rye. And rye needs to be planted soon. So I could work that up and run those three fields. Because obviously as we get more fields, we can either do more crops per year, or we can do more fields dedicated to a crop per year. And that's, typically I've done 2 fields per crop, because it gives you, I'm not constantly changing out headers, or will I harvest this field today and then the next one, the one right next to it, I have to bring all the harvesting equipment out in 4 days' time to harvest it. I'm harvesting sugar beets up here and the other fields on the other side of the map, so we've got to pack up from this field and then drive across the map to do the other one. I try and avoid doing that, so everything we need to harvest for one crop is in adjacent fields. It just makes the logistics easier. But we haven't done rye yet, which is why I want to do rye. We did do barley last year because it's the crop that matures the earliest and actually gives you the opportunity to harvest or to do a corn and barley harvest. And because we did corn as a thing, as a forage crop, you can forage that when it's in its last year of or last day of growth. So you can forage it early. You're less at the whims of the weather. Oh, I didn't notice we were full again. I guess this is close enough. I might as well drive it. Anyway, I think on the whole we're doing very well here. We're going to have a lot of money this winter. I haven't even looked at the prices. So this is already up to 600, potentially 700 for that. We've still got 73,000 litres of canola. I thought I had a great demand for canola at one point, but we still have some. No, I only had the one field. It's the one we drive past to get up to the sugar beet field. 151 there. We've got 126 there. We're already up to 420,000 litres of sugar beets. And then we've got... 300,000 litres of triticale, 360,000 litres of spelt, and 798,000 litres of fresh maize, which we're not going to be feeding all of that to the sheeps. So I'm not sure what... I could silage another batch. Like I said, I think we got too much of it. And the reason I'm not planning to do barley and another maize harvest this coming year is I've only got room for 1 million litres of stuff in our silos, so I don't have the capacity to do, what did we end up with? About 130 million litres, no, 1.3 million litres of maize, fresh maize was harvested last year, just out of those two fields. So it's a very low density crop. We end up with a lot of it. I don't have a corn header. We have a helianthus for the sunflowers. Because it's different. I don't think... of all the YouTube people and streamers I've watched, I've never seen anybody do just sunflowers with a helianthus. They're usually mixing sunflowers. I get the corn header because I'm doing corn and I can do sunflowers with that. But, I decided to be different. And the nice thing about the helianthus is it's a lot faster. How are we doing? We've still got space. This might be it. We might be done with the with the sugar beets. And the ground's still wet, so we're not going to do any more potatoes for a while. It's probably going to be this afternoon we get round to the potatoes. Anyway, this is Year 6 sugar beets. Done. Lift that up. Turn that off. Go find the Challenger. Okay, I've got high setting on cruise control for this, so we should